is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday, every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSFD.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
And here I go. I'm playing with my in-ear monitor because
And
the
there
little
you go.
rubber thing just popped off the end.
Oh,
There we go. Now I can hear myself.
all right. Now we can hear you. Oh, wait. Did we have 15 seconds?
No.
We didn't have 15. You lied to me. Wait.
I need to see the expressions on his face if he's doing this stuff.
No.
You were the first.
I cracked first. I'm waiting.
We haven't done that in years.
Remember when you used to do that when you were a kid? That was so much fun.
No, remember when I used to do that up at the FM station?
Yes.
And I'd be quiet and
Yes,
I'd
and
stare
you'd
at,
wait.
I'd stare at Bob Plass.
Yeah.
And he'd break within like 5 seconds.
Oh, Bob can't stand. Bob abhors silence.
He has to fill the space.
Mm-hmm.
It's
There's a little feature of
feature.
our virtual DJ.
Did virtual DJ just happen to... No, of course it didn't just pop up because you always have it open. I've been trying to determine why my computer was a bit clunky as I was setting everything up here. And then all of a sudden, I didn't even have it open. Virtual DJ opens up. You've been updated.
Oh,
You probably said it to do it last time.
Why does it always want to update? When
Do I
you
want to
need
use a new version now? No.
No.
I don't even want to load it up. All right. So, do you see me as a source?
And the video part?
Yeah,
Hold on. Where did I
because I'm showing as I'm connected.
Where did I put you? I don't remember where I put you.
And I ask because when our guest comes in the second hour, we've got a PowerPoint presentation we're going to be utilizing. But shortly, I've got
there you are.
Okay, shortly I've got a little video of part of our trip, and I'll need the audio coming out of here as well as the
By the way,
screenshot
did you
of
have
that
to show my massive gut on the video?
one. Everyone's seen it.
I know.
Did I have?
I don't want to see it.
Did I have to show my toothless front end on video? Yeah, I had no choice. That's why I put myself in a very little square up in the corner.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'll get this dental work fixed. That medication just knocked the hell out of everything. Unless one of our viewers happens, what's loading here? Unless one of our
Let's look at Kenny's computer.
something's loading.
Well, that's interesting.
As I was saying, unless one of our viewers happens to have a spare 20,000, so I can get all my implants at once, that'd be great.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you had your trip last week. That was awesome. That was really awesome.
Oh, so we're jumping right into that?
Well,
Well,
we
you can
could
if you
try.
want to.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Okay,
It,
you know
it
what?
wasn't as spectacular as we thought it would be, but it
Well-
wasn't a total bust either.
What do you mean? Why not? What do you
Well, where we went was cloudy. It wasn't horribly cloudy where it completely blocked out the sun, but it made it very difficult to do what we needed to do.
mean? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, no, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a total bust because I got some really cool still images, but it was very hard to shoot video.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well-
Everybody here was going out with their glasses and watching it, and it was nothing. I mean, there was really not that much to see. So,
Well, there was because 93% of the sun was blocked.
yeah, but it didn't get very dark, and people expected great things, but that's okay.
Well, but
okay.
if you listen to the media, you had to be in the path of totality or very, very close for it to have any major effects.
Yes, I see. I see.
So that's the truth.
What are we looking for? Oh, we're back on. There we are. Oh, but I'm not in the center now. Do you want me to move?
No, we'll be good.
I keep having to move.
No, because you have a guest coming. So
We do. We do have a guest coming at what, 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Okay,
We're
so
going to
good.
continue with what we left off with.
So while you're messing around with that, I'm going to talk.
I'm
about
done
Bob
messing
Newton.
around.
Anyway, okay.
You know, you brought up the trip. We're going to stick with the damn trip.
Okay.
Let's see. Is this gonna? Okay, good. This is actually gonna play. Yeah. Switch on over there, Pete. So, as mentioned, see now, I don't understand why it glitched there, but not on my laptop. Anyways, we were mostly cloudy, but it started to clear up just a bit the second half. So this is a time lapse of the second half of the eclipse. And you can see it jitter every now and then. This was done in about 25 different takes because you had to keep moving the camera because it's moving. So I just did my best to get it in the center there. But that kind of shows you, in about a minute and a half what it would be like if you didn't have to take 45 minutes to watch that.
And it was that cloudy.
Yeah.
There were some parts where it was so cloudy, when you can see this, look at the sun through the clouds and you don't hurt your eyes?
Yep.
That's how cloudy
That's
it was.
what we did.
And we could see the disc obscuring.
Yep. So that's what we were dealing with there. And the first half, it was worse than that. It was so bad, I couldn't even focus my camera on it.
Yeah, I had the same problem.
And there's a sunspot that Pete was able to capture.
Yeah, that was during testing.
Yes. That's the first half. Second half. Again, you can see all the clouds, which makes a nice effect, but when you're actually watching it in person, it kind of sucks.
I don't know. I thought it was cool because I've seen it both ways. But
Yeah.
you'll just have to fly to Iceland on your diamond card next time. Actually, there's one in Africa in a couple of years. 7 minutes of totality.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So that's another still taken by Pete.
Move your mouse.
Well, there we go. We have a better shot right there. That is a solar flare coming off of the corona of the sun. So we got a couple of good shots when we were up there.
It looks impressive. I saw some of them online. They were beautiful. They were fabulous pictures.
Yeah.
They look
Really
kind of
fabulous
haunting because it
picture.
muted. Everybody got the big bright corona. You know what I mean? When the sun, when the moon blocked, the corona comes out. It gets very, very bright. Well, because we had the filtering that knocked the corona down, and that's why we were able to see the prominences coming off the sun. Those are solar flares that are trying to break away.
Do me a favor, though. I know what the corona is, but there is a possibility people listening don't. Can you explain what the corona is?
It is the plasma atmosphere of the sun.
And where would they see the corona?
The only time you see the corona
During an eclipse.
is in the eclipse, or if there's a couple satellites out there that NASA has that actually have a block in them that generate an artificial eclipse, and so they can study the sun's corona that way. Did you know that?
And it's around the outside? Is that true?
It's the atmosphere of the sun, basically.
Okay.
Just like the atmosphere, our atmosphere is over the crust of the planet.
Yep.
The atmosphere of the sun, the corona, is over the surface of the sun, which is molten hydrogen.
So there you have it, folks.
Or gaseous
It's not
hydrogen.
just an alcoholic beverage.
The corona?
Yes. Well, people hear terms a lot, and particularly when you have an eclipse, I think that the general public hears terms and they just aren't aware of what the terms refer to. Sometimes they don't know what a corona is. Obviously, if they don't, they weren't listening to me in third grade.
Yeah, you need to be a little bit more interested in science.
I suppose you do. Yes, good thinking.
That was a still, though. That came out pretty good.
So where exactly were you located, Peter?
Sackett's Harbor, New York. It was west of Watertown on Lake Erie.
Oh, okay.
Basically on Lake Erie. We were about a mile away from Lake Erie, but
Now,
we specifically were in a Dollar General parking lot.
Now, was it too crowded where you were?
The parks were, but we went and asked the manager of the Dollar General parking lot. She goes, "Well, as long as you buy something,
Okay.
and you let me take a look through the camera when it's going on, I'm perfectly happy with you guys parking out there."
Oh, that was nice. Were there other people there?
There was one older couple with a telescope, and one clueless family from Long Island that was going to keep driving. And I said, the eclipse starts in about 7 minutes, right?
Actually, it was underway.
No, it was about 7 minutes away.
We were already into it, though. It had already started.
We were not. Not when they first talked to me, it wasn't. It was about 7 minutes away.
Yeah. The first couple of minutes, you can't tell what's going on anyway.
Yeah.
Now, what time did it start where you were?
2:20, around 2:20.
And how long did it last?
It was about an hour until full eclipse, and then about an hour later, it was completely back to full sunlight. And then the clouds came in, and the sun went away anyways.
Yeah, well, it was cloudy here, so it was very hard to see much of anything. It got a little bit darker. We did try looking at it, but it was hard to see anything.
And we also, because we had the filtering, Ken's paper glasses were not nearly they were worse than my welding goggles. My welding goggles were much more effective in those conditions.
Yeah, we used the welding glasses. Goggles. We had it set way up to like a 13 or 14, so we could see it. But it was tough. It was tough to see anything. Was it clear anywhere? Was it clear further north?
Vermont was beautiful. Maine was beautiful, but had I known it was going to build out that way, I was looking at the models, and the models at the time of eclipse had a cloud bank going into Vermont, which never materialized, and you got to go by what the models are telling you. And then
right, absolutely.
I mean, if we had gone east right off the bat and not gone towards Rochester, because I thought that was going to be a clear spot, we might have been able to make Vermont. I mean, because we had all our stuff with us, so we were a bit more mobile, but by the time we changed directions, we had just enough time to get to the Watertown area.
Now, you've seen 2 of them now, correct?
Yes.
Have you seen any others, Ken?
Here, but not totality.
Okay, we had one 70-something.
The
Full totality?
The 2017 one was partial here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, 2017, I was in Kentucky.
I remember that. Oh, goodness. Wow, that was 7 years ago already?
Yep.
Holy smokes.
And that one, I wish I had the camera I have now for that one, because I would have got some stunning images. I've got pretty good images as it was, but the images I got would have been unbelievable this time around if I had that P1000 camera. That camera's awesome. I mean, just the fact that I was able to zoom in as far as I was and get a focus through all that lens and stuff, I was like, wow. I was amazed.
Now,
Now I might do some solar photography, just in general.
Interesting. And you put other videos up online, didn't you? Or did you, Ken?
Yeah, he put
I put up photos of our hotel room, or one of the hotel rooms.
He put up a travel video of us talking in the car.
I didn't hear that. How did I miss that?
Oh,
I'm afraid.
We got to work on the audio for that, though, Ken.
Well,
Is there a plug-in for that thing?
there was no.
I have the labs.
No,
now.
but I had a 4K codec issue going on, which messed up half of that. It messed up half of that audio.
Wait. Stop. Time. You had a what?
A 4K codec issue with the cameras, which interfered with the proper recording of the audio.
Kodak?
Codec.
CODEC.
Okay. It's not as bad as some descriptions I get from you where I really am out in left field.
I have a sister to those 2 cameras that has a mic in that I think maybe I'll just do a main audio feed next time. I'll pin up some mics over by the sun visors. But,
Well, no, now with my little wireless kit there, you could plug it right into the side of the camera if you have a mic input.
Oh, yeah.
And we could have laved ourselves. We
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
test
you
that.
have 2 labs?
Yes, that has
Oh,
2.
is that like the little Rode thing I have with the 2 mics and the receiver?
Yeah, but it's a cheap Chinese version.
Oh, okay.
But it's perfect inside of a car.
All right, yeah.
I had that with me. We could have used it. Mm-hmm. Well, we need to test next time.
Yeah. If I wasn't shooting in 4K, I wouldn't have had an issue ultimately in the end. We could improve on the audio, but it wouldn't have been glitchy like that. But I did put a disclaimer up in the video. Yeah, I'm aware that there's a problem with the freaking audio.
By the way, you should have used one of my pictures of the eclipse instead of the one that you used as a corner shot.
I didn't have that available at the time when I did all those.
Yes, you did. It was on Facebook.
Yeah, if I grab from Facebook, I'm not going to have full resolution. Yeah.
There's a certain thing called the telephone.
Yeah.
You could have said, "Hey, Pete, I need those right now."
At 11 at night when
Yes.
I got done doing those.
Yes, I would have woken up and sent it to you.
When I got done doing those edits at 11 at night, I'm like, what can I do to add to this? So I got free artwork online. I just put that little logo up in the corner.
I would have grumbled for about 2 seconds, and then I would have done it.
Well, I stopped contacting you after 9 o'clock, period, because you've grumbled more than once in the past.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I don't bother anymore. Nobody's going to watch this damn film anyway.
You might be surprised.
That's true. I would watch
So
it.
do I even need to go through all this anymore now?
I don't know. What are we doing?
Because this
Do you have
is,
a rant?
This is the welcome to What Did I Get Myself Into show now.
Okay.
And
The
you're
views
surprised
expressed by the
because-
host during this rant are those solely of his own. Well, they might be mine too. But they're definitely not those of the Westfield State University Radio Club, the underwriters, the trustees, or those who did not ride in the car with us. That means all of you people out there. And now,
And only once was there an incident with audible anal discharges of intestinal gas.
and that was you
Yeah, and when was that?
on the way back.
On the way, yeah.
When we couldn't find anywhere to eat, and yeah.
Oh yeah, I was expecting food and I didn't get any, so I think yeah. Anyways, so last week we decided to chase the eclipse, and we thought, why not? All right, we'll just drive up to New York State, get a cozy hotel, and watch a universe pull off its best magic trick. Well, as we were talking about, let's just say the universe had other plans. First off, let me tell you about this hotel.
Uh-oh.
I'm pretty sure it was last renovated during the Kennedy administration. I mean, if you wanted a bed that felt like quicksand, curtains that could double as a doily collection,
Oh, no.
and a TV that played peekaboo every 5 minutes, this was the place to be.
No, sir. Oh, no.
And don't even get me started on the chair in the room. It had more stains than a hillbilly's T-shirt.
Ew.
I swear, I think I was auditioning for a role in the next horror movie.
Ew.
But hey, at least we had a fun activity. You ever try using a UV flashlight in a hotel room? It's like CSI 5th edition. We found all sorts of surprises, from unclean toilets to, well, let's just say I won't be eating off the floor anytime soon. So after surviving the night in our personal horror movie set, we woke up to face the day. And Pete and I always get separate rooms. So I don't... Well, was yours just as bad? Well, he didn't UV his room.
Don't want to know?
Yeah, he didn't want to know what was in there.
Good move.
So we woke up to face the day, and what a day it was. Clouds as far as the eye could see, making our dreams of capturing the eclipse on video about as likely as me winning a gold medal in synchronized swimming. We thought we would try to beat Mother Nature. We were originally going to go to Watertown, but based on the weather report, decided to go to Rochester instead. Once in Rochester, we decided to beat
on the way there.
we decided to beat a hasty retreat back north and east to our original destination.
Oh, no.
But hey, it wasn't all doom and gloom.
We had time to get there.
We did manage to catch about 3 minutes of totality, which was like witnessing the universe hit the pause button. It was breathtaking. When we could see it through the clouds, that is. And then came the journey home.
Uh-oh.
Oh, the journey home. If there was an award for hitting every traffic jam in a 100-mile radius, we'd be champions.
It was crazy.
Oh, no.
But hey, at least we got a story to tell, right?
Yeah. You do.
And apparently we've got plans for 20 years from now.
Oh.
Because apparently we're gluttons for punishment. So to sum it up, though, the eclipse may have been elusive. The hotel may have been a disaster. And the journey may have been a traffic nightmare. But hey, at least Perkins served a mean breakfast. And isn't that what life is all about?
I guess.
Finding the silver lining in the most absurd of situations.
Yes, you're right.
First time I've been to a Perkins.
I never heard of it.
Yeah,
It's a chain.
yeah. So
Where?
not around here.
Midwest, New York State. Yeah, I've heard of Perkins.
Yeah. So we're driving around trying to plan our following day out afternoon because we're always doing that. We like to have an idea of what's going to be happening, and
Well, because if you got to change the plan, you got to know the plan first.
yes. Yes.
Right?
And if
Good
you
point.
change a plan, you have to know that you have immediate options to go to as well. So, we're trying to figure out breakfast the following day, and because all the hotel rooms are booked, I was concerned about just being able to get into a place, but we didn't have, we were the first or second people arriving to the restaurant, and, we start out early to begin with. But in the car, I'm looking for places to go, and I'm like, oh, what's this Perkins? And I thought it was a local establishment. I'm looking at the menu. And I'm like, hey, Pete, this kind of looks like Cracker Barrel.
Interesting.
And Pete's like, well, yeah, it is. It's a chain. I go, oh, it is.
It reminds me a lot of Abdow's because it has a pastry case. Mm-hmm. It has the regular, down home good food,
Yeah.
like solid food, and it just reminds me a lot of an Abdow's.
I
A
know
big
you
boy.
love Cracker Barrel, but I have to say I think I liked Perkins better than Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, it was good. Yep.
I think it was what word do I want to use here? More affordable. It was better price.
Yeah.
I think for what you got.
Yeah.
What did you eat?
I got one of the senior meals. Actually, they don't call it senior anymore. They call it over 55. I got one egg Benedict instead of two.
Peter, what did you get?
Half the menu.
No, I did not. I think I got a chicken fried steak.
It seemed like he did because he's ordering and he's going on and on and on and on.
I got a chicken fried steak, and I liked their sausage, so I got a side of sausage. What was the problem? And the chicken fried steak came with a lot of food.
Yeah, actually, what it is, it sounds like you're ordering a lot, but there's like 8 different options for every plate that you order.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, do you want this or this? Do you want that or that? I mean,
Now the
so once you decide on something on the menu,
Good.
you have to decide on how you want it now.
ugh, too many decisions to make.
I'm always the
Bring it to
second.
me.
I'm always the second one in the room of 2 to figure out exactly how I want to do that.
No, I too many decisions. So, what's with the traffic, Peter? It was tough getting out of there.
Well, so everybody dribbled in.
Manhattanites.
Everybody dribbled in, but then everybody wanted to leave at once. They didn't, we probably should have booked a room Monday night somewhere. Not the same hotel we started in, because that was a
So
pit.
you stayed. Wait, you left on Sunday?
Yes.
And you stayed Sunday night,
Yes.
and then you came home right after the eclipse.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that must have been a long day for you.
Yes.
We've had longer.
I mean, that wasn't the longest was the drive back from Florida, which was 27 hours. This was, we got up around, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. We were out the door, had breakfast, and then we were home by 11:30. That's not terrible.
We were home earlier than that.
10:30.
10:15, I think I got into my house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And similar to us going down to Wallops Island for lunch.
I mean, the drive should have taken us 4.5 hours. It took us about 6 1/4.
And
We had
Pete started to get hangry.
We hit a traffic jam around Syracuse, and we hit a traffic jam around Albany, but that was everybody going back to New York City
Right.
and the New York City area. Because once we got on the Mass Pike, there was people going back to Massachusetts, and it was heavy, but it wasn't terrible.
It wasn't stop and go.
Right. There was a lot of traffic.
And twice we tried to stop for dinner, and twice we failed at doing so.
No, why? What?
Because of all the damn Manhattanites.
Oh my God, there was buses and like
You pull into a rest area, and there's a line coming out of it.
there was a line 50 people deep for the bathroom.
Oh, jeepers.
The men's room, not the women's room.
Oh,
the men's room.
jeepers.
And the parking lot is full, and Pete's like, he didn't even stop. He just
No.
kept driving through the rest area.
No, when you go by and there's buses pulling in, nope, not going in there.
So about 45 minutes down the road, okay, well, let's pull off the highway and go someplace.
Okay, good plan.
McDonald's. We finally get to the McDonald's and go, Pete, look at that. There's a tour bus out front.
Oh, no.
I had to go. I didn't care at that point.
Yeah. But
Did not care.
after he went, nope, not waiting to get food there.
We might have been able to go to
And
the
I know
drive-thru.
what it's like when a bus is outside of
Oh, I
McDonald's,
know.
because when I went with the choir last year, just the small group we were,
Yep.
it was chaos in that McDonald's.
Yep, I've done that because we used to take trips to Broadway
Yeah.
on busing, and they always, I don't know if they had arrangements with the
They do.
restaurants or
They
what.
usually do.
Because we would pull in and there'd be like 2 or 3 other buses. It was a nightmare just to get a soda. It was awful.
Yeah, so Pete went hangry that day because it just
Oh, Peter,
got,
I'm sorry.
it got too late in the day to even bother.
I'm so sorry.
We had snacks, so that was helpful. I didn't get completely
Yeah,
pissed.
Pete had Pringles, and I had some.
I love Pringles.
I had some beef steak and cheese things.
I love Pringles.
Slim Jims, basically.
Yeah,
I'm not keen on those.
beef stick.
Yeah, it wasn't like I said. It wasn't. Some of the people like up in Vermont had clear skies, and I've experienced that. I was hoping for that for Ken, but if we had gone straight east right off the bat, we probably could have gotten to Vermont. But because we were trying the weather and we were looking at the models, and the timing was off on the models, so the stuff materialized. It just materialized further east than what we thought it would be at the time. So.
And I was just in it for the perfect. I wanted the perfect shot. I wanted to film that in its entirety clear, but I couldn't even focus on half of it because of the clouds.
Did you take the filter off for
Yep, I took the filter off and I cranked up my own ND, and my own ND was not enough.
No. At totality, you take the filter off.
No, I didn't. No.
Why not? That's the best time.
At that point, it was too cloudy. I couldn't even focus to begin with.
How did I get the shots that I got then? It cleared up right on the totality.
Yeah.
I think you gave up.
Yeah, I did.
You never give up.
Yeah.
Now, were you happy with anything you got? Did you get
Well, the footage at the end.
video? Was nice.
Yeah.
The stills
I
came
kind
out
of
really
like
well.
the clouds.
Yeah.
It makes it
Yeah.
it makes it a very dramatic
Yeah.
video.
Did I give up? Not really. I think at the point of totality, I was more taking it in than anything else, because we did witness the temperature drop and the animals go quiet.
That did happen here. There was a temperature drop, and it was very quiet. Not that the cats would care. They don't care.
No.
Hey, Kenny, you want to go to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia in 2027?
I think I'm going to Vegas that week.
August 2nd, 2027? You want to go?
Oh, August in Saudi Arabia?
6 minutes of totality, though.
Is that a lot? I don't know.
Oh, my God, yes.
Is it?
It's one of the longest eclipses of the century.
How far away is...
Hey, good to know.
how
We could
far-
also go to the Straits of Gibraltar in Spain.
Well, the thing I ask is how far away from UAE is that?
Jeddah, Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
Jeddah, Saudi Arabia is a beautiful city.
Right, but if I'm going to be over in that neck of the woods, I want to make sure I hit UAE.
Why?
There's some resorts down the city there that are just incredible. If I'm going to
Jeddah
be
has that too.
If
Saudi
I'm going
Arabia has
to
that.
be out there, I want to witness the ski area in the middle of a desert.
The next country over, basically.
Yeah, that's I knew we were in the proper neighborhood. And if I'm going to spend the money, I'm going to go to Southeast Asia.
It's supposed to be beautiful.
You know, I already go to a desert 3 times a year.
That's true. You do. Absolutely. And you're off again.
2 weeks.
Now, where are you going in 2 weeks? You going back to Vegas?
Vegas. Pool season. Pool season started like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. My daughter's already got her pool open in St. Louis.
Yeah.
It was 80. I hate her.
Yeah, I'm not going to
She
be
and
putting mine up to the end of
L24.
May. I never did get a solar heater for it.
Oh,
this
you
year.
didn't? I thought you were going to do
I was going to
that.
do that, but I trimmed a lot of branches off a tree, so I think with the solar cover
be
I have,
better?
it's going to do it.
Well, I hope it's
Well,
better
but
here.
it was great all through June and July. It was August that sucked last year.
Well, we had so much rain, and things aren't getting any better. Look at the rain we keep getting.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's I was out in the field yesterday, way out in the back field at the base of Toccoa, and those fields are so wet. I don't know how they're going to do anything with them for a while. Hopefully they'll dry out, but we're getting rain again this weekend, aren't we? I think. As far
I
as
don't even
know.
want to think about that.
The rain or
Yeah,
the weekend?
the rain.
Oh, I know. It's depressing. It's
And,
not, it's not good for people that have all kinds of stress. It's really not good. Sunshine is good for you psychologically. And being outside is good for you psychologically.
Why do you think I go away a lot in the winter?
I know. Well, I can imagine. It actually, looking at, and they've done studies on this, Ken, and I'm sure you know this, but looking at nature and sunshine releases oxytocin that makes you feel better, physically feel better when you're outside.
Well,
in
that's
the sun.
because you need the sun in order to process the vitamin D in your body.
You
as
need the
well.
vitamin D. That is correct. That is absolutely correct. But it releases oxytocin so that you just feel better.
Hi, Buster.
Oh gosh.
Oh, God.
Oh, don't let him in here.
He's going to come in one way or the other.
Well, I left something behind.
Have a seat.
Is that you who did that?
The white.
Yeah.
People can't hear me, so
No.
now they-
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, they can.
Now they can hear me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hello,
yes, they
everybody.
can.
Yeah,
Good morning.
so I've seen it plugged into the other damn outlet. I'm like, this must have been a student who did this.
No,
Why
that
didn't you
was-
just plug it over here out of the way?
I see you in person.
I enjoy your musical. Absolutely, it's absolutely a wonderful show, and
You're in person.
I encourage people to go see it.
Oh, I can't talk about it. Ken told me I couldn't.
But he didn't say I couldn't talk about.
That's right. He can. So we.
Damn you, Michael Buster
Damn
McMahon.
you! Damn you!
No, Ken, have you seen it?
No,
No. Are you going to?
no.
Oh,
He
why?
wouldn't come. He wouldn't. sit
Why?
there
No,
long
I
enough. He's not into music.
Yeah, but
I don't
isn't
do
he-
those things.
But you're into Kathy Palmer, aren't you?
I know.
Yeah, hey, what goes on in her dungeon stays in her dungeon, okay?
We don't. Well, we don't have dungeons.
I'm sorry. What
Or basement. I mean, sorry, but
We don't have.
I've already said too much.
what what were you guys talking about when you?
Nothing.
Nothing.
We talk about absolutely
Absolutely
nothing
Nothing.
here.
It's an interesting strategy for a show.
It worked for Seinfeld.
Yes, it did. Very, very well.
So it does. So I'm going to tell you anyway
Yeah.
that we have one more
Well,
weekend
good,
of Robin
because
Hood.
if you don't, I have a bunch of Dear Abbeys for us to review.
We have one more weekend of Robin Hood, Friday night and Saturday night, and the doors open at 7:30 on Friday. They open at 2:00 in the afternoon on Saturday, and again at 7:30. It is the final Palmer Dunk production because, of course, we lost Mrs. Dunk, and I don't have her anymore to work with, so we will not be doing any more. But this is a great show, complete with. You saw the quarterstaff. but
Yes,
you
that was
missed
great.
the sword.
I had to go to work.
I keep telling you.
didn't know it.
This working
I
for a
know.
living gets in the way.
I
You've
didn't-
got to stop.
I didn't realize you wrote a 6-hour musical. So
I know it is very long, but it moves very, very quickly.
It does.
And people seem to enjoy it, and they seem to stay with us, and it's a fun show. Tickets are available online at westfieldtheatergroup.com, or you can get tickets at the door.
can I ask?
Can I have like?
You're gonna anyway.
No. This is your show. I wouldn't.
No.
my show.
I lost
I'm not
control. Years
Mondays.
ago.
We're never
Mondays
sure
8 to
who
10.
showed it.
That'll learn you. You can learn your
We'll
stories
go
behind your
for
favorite
it.
song.
Ask away.
Okay.
kind
Well,
sir.
one of the things was, it had to be bittersweet to see this going on stage with, knowing that Marion's gone.
Well, I only cry once a day, so it's good. We're good. We're down to once a day.
Because it was nice. Everybody had in the program, seemed like so many people, especially who had done the show previously, had a dedication towards Marion. So that was kind of nice.
Well, it was her choice to do the show again. That's why I was not sold on repeating it. We had done it 12 years ago. I loved it. I enjoyed the show. I love everything about it. There's always something captivating about Robin Hood, whether or not he was real, and whether
Probably inspired by a true character.
but there were several true characters that it's sort of based on, and we do have an historian in the cast who's a professor at Westfield State, and he kept saying, "This isn't right. That isn't." I said, "Listen, it's a legend.
It's a legend.
It's a story."
Well, and that's the other
So-
question I wanted to ask. Obviously, Robin Hood's like in the public domain. Was there when you came up with the idea for Robin Hood, were you like, no, this has been done so many times. Why am I doing this again?
I don't know why we were doing it, but when we did the research, Michael, there is no story about Robin Hood. The story you think you know is simply Hollywood.
Right.
Those stories don't exist. Tuck didn't come into the story in the beginning. Maid Marian didn't come into. They didn't come in for like 200 or 300 years. So everything we saw and all of the research that I did, because being a writer, you do your research first before you even start your writing process. So everything I did, there's no one cohesive story. And actually the story we tell is really just an invention of those pieces. We did not tell, this isn't the Hollywood story. You're not going to see the Kevin Costner version. It's totally different from anything you've seen. I invented it because it's all little pockets of items. So,
But there were several Palmer Dunk productions. Is it possible that we may see a reincarnation of one of the other ones again?
no, we will not.
Okay.
No, we will not.
I understand why, but it's also kind of sad that
I know.
they're done.
It's okay. I'm okay with it. Actually,
Okay.
we stopped 2 years ago with Wonderful Life. I planned on that being my last production because, guys, this is not a surprise, but I'm getting older.
I haven't been able to tell.
So we had said we were done, but then they were looking for a spring show, and Marion took me aside. She said, "Can we do this one more time?" That was always her goal, was to do Robin Hood one more time. And then when everything fell apart, it took many soul searchings on my part. I was done. I wasn't doing it.
Okay.
I wasn't going to do it. That's it. We're done. But it was her goal to do it again. And for that reason, we moved forward. We had a young man, Tyler Cook, who took over as music director. And he is, if you ever need anyone to work with you, Michael, he is an absolute delight to work with and knows his stuff. So to walk in, I don't know about your scripts, but I'm willing to bet they're no different. You know how you have your working script and you've got X's and crosses and initials and crossed out and arrows, and God help you if anybody can read them. Could I read your script and follow it?
Eventually, I put it into yeah, I think it could. You were present at the reading of my musical.
I was, but that wasn't a finished
Right.
copy.
You're right.
So when you're done and you start directing it, by the way, what's happening with that?
Well, it's taken a backseat to Sanctuary Much, my other play, because it's a collaboration. A collaboration, and sometimes I'm still waiting for the other things I need from the music person. So Sanctuary Much was originally going to be a musical, but then I said, you know what, I don't want to rely on anybody else. So Sanctuary Much is being read by the Exit 7 Theater Group.
Right, and when is that?
March 2025.
Okay.
And they're going to do 3 days. They're going to do a reading of the original work, which I'm so honored and just proud and thrilled and.
I'll have to see that.
Yep. Oh yeah, we're going to promote everybody. I want everyone. So Kenny's not going to come see it. That's
Are they going to change the name of Exit 7, seeing the
I don't
number of
think
the
so.
exit has
No.
changed?
I don't think so.
No, everyone knows where it is
Yep.
and what it is. So,
But Kenny
it's
won't.
good.
Kenny won't be going to see it. That's basically.
No, he
All
won't
right.
be coming.
I don't do anything when I'm in this area. I just.
Huh.
I don't.
Well,
do
I guess you
anything.
save a lot of money that way, so that's kind of good.
My 1994 Cadillac has under 80,000 miles on it,
Wow.
so I don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I guess not. Well, I didn't want to hijack the show, but I wanted to bring you on my show last week, but there was no That'll Learn You last week, so I get to ask you some of the questions I wanted to ask you on my show.
There you go.
So it was kind of good. All right, my thoughts were with you through the entire production because I absolutely adore you, and I'm proud that you guys were able to do one last show.
We did have fun.
Good.
It's me and you next week, buddy.
That's right. Kenny's going to be in the Peter seat for my show next week.
Yeah, we
can do
we
it.
canned Michael for the eclipse, and then this coming Monday
I tried to tell him that.
Pete's out of town, and I'm like,
He didn't
well, you know
listen
what?
to me.
If Buster's the only guy on Monday, screw him. Let's can him again. But I couldn't do that.
All
for
right,
him.
thanks, buddy.
Actually,
I did not say that.
of all the programming
he
that we
wouldn't
do
say
here, I don't mind waking up and coming in on Monday morning for his program.
He can cover you.
Yes.
He knows what he's doing.
Well,
He'll
thank
be
you very
good.
much. I'll let you guys get back to whatever
Actually,
it is.
while you're here, let's get your
We
opinion.
were doing
on
Ann
something.
Landers.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get your opinion
Okay.
on something here. Something we do during the end of the first hour of the show if we have time.
Every time I see a very quirky one, I always think, Ken's got to see this one.
Okay.
So, dear Abby, isn't it considered bad manners to comment on the length of time someone spends in the restroom? Several times when I've been out with people at a restaurant or bar, someone has commented, "That was quick." When I return to the table, I want to tell them the comment is inappropriate. Any suggestions for an appropriate response that isn't too snarky?
Say, well, I'm sorry you have problems. My plumbing's working pretty good. Sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
Of all the problems in the
I know.
world, that is not one that I would have put on my top 10,
Yeah.
what people say about
Or if you're
restrooms.
subconscious about it, I don't know,
My-
sing a song in the bathroom.
My answer was, would you like to borrow my squatty potty?
Yeah, there you go.
I can't say I've ever even noticed what people said.
No, unless it's something like I wanted to talk to Kathy, and Ken goes to the bathroom. I go, here's my chance to talk to Kathy.
It's our chance.
And then Ken comes back. I'm like, damn, Ken, that was quick. I didn't.
That wasn't.
You getting in the mood?
Yeah.
Oh dear Lord, you don't spend a lot of time with us, do you?
No.
Well, what was their answer?
Obviously, this person wasn't me because I'm the one who walks out going, "Do not go in there." All right, so
You walked in here by choice.
Yes. Well, I left. I had to get this.
so Abby says, "Try this." Oh, by the way,
Try
before you leave, we're talking about that too.
Try this.
Talking about why? What's wrong with it?
I didn't know you were clocking my action. It's better than saying, "That's because I didn't take the time to wash my hands."
No. There you go.
Oh, burn.
Would you like me to pass you the bread?
Cute.
Burn.
All right, so what's wrong with this?
Yeah, my whole thing was when you took too long. I'd never commented on you being quick. But when you're too long, my whole thing was, what, you fall in?
Yeah.
Yeah, some people do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it does take a lot.
What's another one? Did you get lost?
Yeah. What took you so long?
I generally don't.
Where
comment.
have you been?
Of course, the song "Hold On, I'm Coming." You know that song by Sam and Dave. Isaac Hayes and I can't remember who the other guy was. They were writing the song. They agreed they were going to write a song, and this is what I do on my show.
Wait, we didn't know that.
So Isaac Hayes came in and he's like, "Hey, where are you?" He's like, "I'm in the bathroom." And he's like, "All right." And he's waiting and waiting and waiting. He's like, "Dude, I thought we were writing a song." And the guy yelled, "Hold on, I'm coming." So Isaac Hayes was like, "You know what? I can work with that," until he comes out, "Hold on, I'm coming." And that's the impetus behind the song.
She was giving me the finger.
Or she's afraid you're
know.
going to say something.
No. Ken?
All right.
No.
So you had a comment about this before I go. I do have somebody waiting for me in the car, so I do have to go.
Okay, well, we won't do this other Dear Abby about a restaurant. We'll get right into this.
What's wrong with this? Is there something wrong with this?
I just thought differently of you until I saw that.
Okay.
All right?
That I left it behind or that I have it?
Well, we all know that Michael Buster McMahon does not have a cell phone.
Yes.
All right?
You don't have a cell phone?
The thought of always being reachable just sounds absolutely horrible.
No, sir.
Yeah.
But if he had a cell phone, I would always, because I know the person he is, I would always expect him to have an Android and not an iPhone. So now I can tell by looking at this power supply, it's an Apple power supply.
Okay. I was gifted this, so I had
Oh, you were gifted it.
I had no choice. I don't care. It works well for
Okay,
me.
because I look at,
What is it?
I always took you as a
Something-
Windows person.
Okay. I'm not I have no loyalty either way. This was a lovely gift. I'm like, oh, cool.
Oh, you know what? If I was gifted a Mac Pro or a MacBook, I'd definitely use it.
Because I
'Cause I don't have $2,500 to put on a TV.
I got a big
a computer.
home computer where that's where I usually do my writing.
Windows?
A friend, I don't even know what the hell it is.
Yeah.
It's big. It's
Big.
got a big screen
He knows about as much as I do. It's big.
All right.
and it's white.
About what we know. Yep, I like that.
Yeah, it's a big white
Oh, that
computer.
doesn't tell me anything. Is it all one piece?
Yeah, the screen and and everything's in
Okay, it's iOS.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was gifted that. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I can write, in other places. So
All right, so we'll be seeing you next time on
yes,
Monday morning.
Monday 8 to 10. That'll learn you with adorable me, and you two have a wonderful day.
We shall.
Yeah, we're gonna try.
Good.
No,
I
it's,
mean,
it's sunny out. It's a
there's
pretty
nothing
nice
concrete
day.
when it comes to me.
No, you're
All
more
right.
pillowy,
All
right?
right, do we need to play you off?
Like a vaudeville thing. Oh, there we go. Like have the vaudeville hook come out and.
I have something like that here, but you know what? You said you had to go.
Yeah, well.
We can play them off with.
Thank you very much.
This is Cock and Locker.
That's what I was looking for.
That's from one of my,
yep.
That's from one of my radio plays. That play is going to be part of Sanctuary Much. You get a murder mystery, you get a salute to the 30s screwball comedy, and you get a teenage sex com. So
Sounds good.
yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Sanctuary Much, March
Sounds
2025.
good. Michael,
So-
good to see you. Thank
Good
you
to
for
see
stopping
you,
in.
and congratulations on a wonderful production.
All right, and I will be there for your reading.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
See you guys.
All right.
Goodbye, buddy.
Jeez, Kathy, I'm glad that guy is gone.
Your guest is here, by the way. You ready to
That was
take your
out-
top of the
That
hour?
was your out loud voice.
Yeah, we
again.
just need to wrap up here. All right, so at least we got one Dear Abby in.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
What fascinates me, it's you see the same thing on social media. The kind of things that people get so wrapped up about.
Ginned up,
Yeah,
bent out of shape.
Boy, you need a life. Mm-hmm. You need a life. This is all you can think of to complain about. Is how long someone takes in a restroom.
This person parked crooked in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Let me take a picture of the car with their license plate and put it up on
Yeah,
social media.
Put
and
it out
shame
on
'em.
social media, or you went through a red light. You know what? Everybody's done that at some point for some stupid reason. There's no saying they did it on purpose. Maybe they don't feel good. Maybe they had something happen. Maybe they're just remming for the moment. Golly Moses, life.
Or
goes
maybe they're
on.
Kenny and he just put something up to push buttons and people still haven't figured that one out.
Oh, I don't know anybody like that. That just makes me laugh. And I have to always say something because to see if people catch on, but they don't. They think I'm serious. When you say something hilarious and I go, well, but they don't get it. Do you not see what he's doing? And did you not see what I did? No, they don't. They don't. They just keep being indignant over it. It's really pretty funny.
All right, so hey, that was an hour of your life. You're
That
never
was
going to
an
get back.
hour. Yes, but it was a good hour. You talked about the.
What the hell did
solar
we talk
eclipse.
about?
You talked about the eclipse. It was great.
Okay,
You
yeah.
had some really good information.
Yeah, something that happened over a week ago.
And more Buster's not a bad thing.
We're very timely here.
Yes, we are.
Well,
very
yeah, the
timely.
Buster stuff was okay. Yeah, and
It's
you
nice
did
to
talk
see
about Robin Hood. Is there more that you wanted to get out about that?
No, that's good. It's
one more week.
We have
tickets
one more
available.
It's just great family entertainment. It's good for everyone. It is long, but it moves really, really quickly. And on the last night, we do have a slideshow presentation about Mary, and I did not do it with every show because I don't want people to go out sobbing their heads off. I want people happy.
Alcohol or food?
They do not have alcohol, but they do have concessions.
Okay.
They don't have alcohol.
All right. So that means there's likely an intermission?
There is an intermission, and it was forever long because of the ladies' room. Oh, well. And that's why we say, why were you in there so long? I told them it was free to get into the ladies' room, but we would charge them to get out. So there you go. But anyway, that's where I'm at. That's what I have, and then I'm done this weekend. On to better things, and we have a guest coming, and I do have information with him.
Good, because he mentioned to me when I saw him yesterday during the Patriots Day ceremony that he has business with you as well.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. Good business. It was great news. I have some great information from him. So,
so the next 2 weeks,
going.
I'm giving you the day off. Which gives us May and June. Do I lose you during July again this year?
So I don't have to do the 30th? You had me doing the 30th.
There's nobody here the 30th.
Nobody here the 30th.
April 30th? Okay.
Yeah.
All righty.
There's going to be nobody here to do it.
Yeah, so
Okay.
today is the 6th, so the 23rd and the 30th, it's going to be best ofs.
Okay.
So that gives us May, and
May.
I think June. And do you go away again in July? From me, go away from me.
July, I disappear.
Okay.
July, I'm working for a living.
All right. So
Working for a living.
that's the Park and Rec drama stuff, right?
Yes, it is. And I do believe that the brochure. Oh, shoot. I have to go to City Hall and fill out the paperwork.
Okay. When you get back, we'll talk about the Park and Rec stuff.
That's okay.
Or when I get back, because you're not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere. I will be here. So you'll have to send me the weeks that we have. The 23rd and 30th, nothing, right?
Nothing. Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. Just like the past hour. Nothing.
Nothing.
All right.
No, that's not true.
On the other side of the break, Gene Theroux.
All righty.
Burn down the store. Take what you want and more. Shop until you drop. Voodoo consumer never stop. Load up on supplies. No sale, no compromise. Gun crazy down the mall. Voodoo consumer, take it all. Eat this, drink this, try this, charge it, it's fabulous. Step right up and take it, it's fabulous. If you can't afford it, fake it. Be deviously dangerous, ridiculously cool. Let's make it fabulous. 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 Drive me to the bank. Kneel down and give me thanks. Grab your credit card, voodoo consumer, kiss me hard. Eat this, drink this, drive this, charge it, it's fabulous. Step right up and take it, it's fabulous. If you can't afford it, fake it. Be deviously dangerous, ridiculously cool. Let's make it fabulous. Too late, voodoo consumer terminate. Eat this, drink this, try this, buy this, wear this, buy this, play this, charge take it, it's fabulous. If you can't afford to fake it, be deviously dangerous, ridiculously marvelous, meticulously treacherous, disarduously cruel. Just make it fabulous. 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 Fabulous.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
This is Ken Stomsky from Ken's Den on WCPC 15 and 89.5 FM, Tuesdays, 8 to 10.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
And we are back. Westfield Grave Officer Gene Theroux is back in the studio. Good morning, Gene.
Good morning, Jane. Welcome.
All right. We're going to have you move that microphone over to you so that we can actually hear you. Okay, that looks a little bit better. All right, so just quickly, I want to thank you for being the MC at the Patriots Day ceremony yesterday. That was a nice little ceremony.
Yes, it was. In fact, it's kind of disappointing about the lack of people showing up. But the positive note is about you videotaping it. Is that we'll be able to share that, and with the events of the 250th anniversary of the independence of America. It's exciting times, and there's a lot of things on the forefront that are going to soon be happening.
Right.
I mentioned yesterday that in March 2026, the Sons of American Revolution, Massachusetts Society, the General Henry Knox Honor Guard plans on doing the trek with the cannons across Massachusetts. So obviously, right there at the Tavern Restaurant is one of those 26 monuments in Massachusetts.
Right. Yeah. We had during the 350. We were dealing with one of the cannons from Ticonderoga. Am I saying it right?
It's one of the cannons. It's a replica. It is in the Athenaeum in the lobby on site. So if anybody wants to look at it, there it be. And we have the idea when we say this trek, we have the idea of, they were bringing one cannon across, but that's not true.
59.
Yeah, and it was a mile-long trek that they did, and no one ever. He's a bookseller. Henry Knox was not a military man; he was a bookseller, for heaven's sakes. And he said, "Hey, I got this idea," and it worked. It was amazing.
Yeah, we actually had a book writer at the ceremony yesterday who wrote a book on Fally. And every time you started talking about Toccoa, I'm thinking about your little backyard there trying to find the house.
Yes, we did.
Did you actually find the foundation? Or?
I believe we did. The young man, yes, we did. We found the house, and the young man who found the house, he would know because his father was related to J.J. LaValle, who bought the Fally house afterwards. So he would know because the father would have actually been to the house before it burned down. So yes, we did find it, and we did find the armory. That's another trick. I live on that water, and everybody talks about finding the Fally armory. I got to tell you, Gene, that brook is in my yard, and sometimes that brook is almost in my house. Honestly, it's pretty scary. And I said, you know what, guys? There's nothing left. I know that brook. There is nothing left, and there isn't. You'll find slag. There's still a millstone. Most of the millstones have been taken out. There's supposedly some in Stanley Park. There's another one somewhere up in the hill towns. But for the most part, if you didn't know what you were looking for, you wouldn't find it. Oh, well. Enough about Lieutenant Fally.
This is why I have her here.
Right.
All right.
I'm not sure why.
So before about a month and a half ago, Gene came in here. We started going through this huge deck that he has on a PowerPoint regarding the cemeteries in town, some of the people in the cemeteries. Before we get there, I saw something just posted within a couple of days. You just did some more work at a cemetery here in town?
Yes, last Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, my team of veterans, we went up to Owen District Cemetery, which is on the northern portion of East Mountain Road.
And I think I have here is a picture of the front gates. Pete, if we want to jump over, see if I got the proper thing going on here. So this is what we're looking at right here.
Yes,
that's where you're at, Owens District.
Yes, that's correct.
Where exactly is it now?
It's on East Mountain Road, northbound, probably about 3/4 of a mile short of 202.
Okay, this is the one kind of tucked next to the airport area there?
It's on the right-hand side, and that lovely brownstone wall. There was 37 monuments that were repaired last week, reset. There were some that were in fragments that were put back together, and they were all cleaned. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and it's just going to get better as the D2 works its way into the stonework, and the power of nature through the wind, rain, and sun will continue to clean and brighten those gravestones.
All right. And I'm done with that slide or I'm done with PowerPoint for about another minute or so. For folks who didn't tune in last time, you just mentioned the D2. Do you want to remind us what the D2 is?
D2 biological solution is what you use on the stonework. You don't use bleach. You don't use anything with salts in it. And you certainly don't use mercuric acid like they did about 30 years ago, because it'll take the finish right off the stone. And, of course, what people really don't realize is that the dirt is inside the stone, so they'll try scrubbing, and all they're doing is taking mass off the stone.
Interesting.
You want to do the least intrusive process. So many instances on the old stones, particularly marble or sugaring or on slate, you just want to spray the D2 and walk away.
That's it. You don't even wipe it.
No, because some of those stones might be so fragile that you'd be taking material off the stonework, and we don't want that to happen.
In the 70s, when I was in school and we were brought to Mechanic Street to do grave rubbing, how much damage did we do back then?
Probably quite a bit. It's not noticeable to the human eye.
All right.
But it does, particularly on the marbles where they could be sugaring. It just flakes right off. Some cemeteries allow it, but there's a lot of them have rules with absolutely not to do it.
Right.
You know,
we didn't know better back then.
No. Well, people with good intentions did a lot of things, did a lot of damage unbeknownst to what they were doing.
Right. All right. So last time you were here, we talked about the old burying grounds. We talked about West Parish. What I like about some of these stories is you've actually documented who's where. So we're going to jump right over to Pine Hill. All right. So that looks like the entrance. Ooh, that looks like where I'm going. That's right off of. It's not Western Ave at that point. It's still
Court Street.
It's still Court Street at that location.
Right.
Okay. Yes. All right. So anything about Pine Hill before we go on with the PowerPoint?
Well, Pine Hill is a very historic cemetery. In fact, it's eligible to be added to the list of National Historic Places. The issue with Pine Hill is that the landscape is in pretty rough shape. There's a lot of mature trees, but there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of history in Pine Hill, not just with veterans, but also with notable citizens. You go up in the back, and some of these, it's just... To me, I like doing research because every person, there's a story. I want to know the story behind that person and their contributions to society. And so for every hour that I spend in the cemetery, I'll spend at least 6 hours of doing research and documentation at home.
Did we ever relocate people from Mechanic Street over to Pine Hill?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. All right. Because I know that there are cemeteries in the area where folks have been moved, notably around Belchertown.
I could speak for days on that particular subject.
You could.
Because I have several segments of my family that were founding families of the Swift River Valley. In fact, both my grandfathers grew up in the town of Enfield, and both went to France as part of the American Expeditionary Force. And then some 20 years later, their homes were decimated.
I hear you on that. All right, so...
and there was 37 cemeteries that were affected in the valley.
All right, so this slide right here covers one of your cleanup days that you had right over at Pine Hill.
Yeah, in fact, that was back in 2019. We were commemorating the 100th anniversary of the end of World War II. So we were visiting some of the very first commanders of American Legion Post 124. So right there on the right is Janet, and on her right is my wife Marianne. They're planting flowers at the Charles Franklin Ely grave, son of Henry Ely.
Now, where is that located at Pine Hill?
That's up in the back tier, the last row. Little left of center stage.
And when you say that's before you go to the lower area along King Street there?
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to get to the lower area from up there.
Okay.
That's the far northern perimeter road.
Let's talk about that lower area at Pine Hill for a second.
On the King Street side?
On the King Street side. When I was growing up, I was told that at one point they called that Popper's Point or something similar to that because the people who didn't have the funds for proper burial, that's where they put them.
Yes, that's correct.
That is correct.
All right. And it was rumored at one point in time that it was very spiritual. It was approximately across the street from the parking lot.
That's also the spot where they have an infant section.
Oh, okay.
And that's very poignant.
And how do you get to that section?
There's a gate right there on King Street.
Okay.
Hubbard Street intersects. So you would come in that gate, and then you would take a left and go up.
You can drive through out to it, too.
Okay. So from the upper section, there's ways to get there, too?
There's a road.
Yes.
There's also a back stairway, but they frown for some reason. It's not in really good condition. And Callie said they frown on you using that back stairway.
Okay.
But I love that back stairway.
In fact, a lot of people hike through the cemetery, and they use that stairway. And probably about 3 months ago, a tree fell down across that stairway, and the crew at Pine Hill recently cut the tree out, so it's passable now. But what I was hoping to have an Eagle Scout project to do some work on that stairway, but I've been unsuccessful.
Oh, darn it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
The issue with Pine Hill is that it is a private-run cemetery, and they don't have funding from anything other than their own funding and their friends of Pine Hill. So people don't realize that. They think it's a city cemetery. It is not.
However, I did get some Community Preservation Act money for the preservation work on the gravestones in there.
Great. You had mentioned some older trees. Are we at the point where we're starting to be like the cemetery in Southwick where they just have to come down because it's a safety issue?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, there's a lot of trees that are past really their healthy lifespan, particularly in the interior of the cemetery. And in fact, on the when you first go in the gate, just to the right of and north of Governor Ely's grave, a tree came down 2 years ago and wiped out 4 gravestones, which they've been repaired now. But I prefer not to have to repair gravestones from fallen trees. We want to mitigate that, not only just for safety issues, but they're the ones that are apt to do the most damage. The most damage from trees Second is mowers, trim, string mower, weed whackers.
Okay. All right. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, far too often, too thick of a string is used. You should only use .065. And there's a certain way that you should work the landscape.
One wouldn't think of that.
No.
You know, you see the big heavy base at the bottom of the stone. You're like, oh boy, you know, I'll just trim right up to it.
It's particularly the marble tablets because the string on those trim mowers will score and scratch the bottom of the marble. And you can see that when you walk through. You can see many of those old stones have been damaged from.
Yeah. I know what they do to my ankle every now and then. I can just imagine. Jeez.
Sometimes they even run over the graves, the stones.
Yes, they do. In fact,
When they get mowing, they don't think about it.
well, it's particularly these zero-turn mowers, particularly if you're not experienced using them, you can lose control and smack it. Accidents do occur, but the important thing is that the maintenance people, when they do occur, that they report it, so then it can be resolved. And to me, the proper procedure would be is that you contact the family and try to mitigate and resolve the situation to the satisfaction of the family,
Right.
if there's any surviving family members.
Yeah. If.
Right.
Yeah. So this is more work that was done a few years back at Pine Hill.
Yeah, in fact, what that is a Civil War gravestone, and it was raining that day, and so they were trying to raise and lift and plumb the gravestone to their proper.
Is that one that had fallen over?
Now, this one was broken below the surface, and but speaking of Civil War gravestones, there was 2 unmarked Civil War veterans, and just last week, I had previously ordered gravestones from the VA, so those came in last week.
Oh, wow.
So
You're a busy person.
He is.
and so, in fact, Wednesday evening there's a meeting of the L.A. TIF Camp 15 of the Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War.
Say that again.
Well, Lieutenant L.A. Tiff was a Civil War veteran. He's interred in Springfield Cemetery. So it's the Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War Camp 15.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so I've asked them to do a Grand Army of the Republic burial service for these 2 Civil War veterans after we have the gravestones in. So,
oh, my.
So it's tentatively, it's a June 22nd date, but we're going to try to change that. And then once we have a firm date, we're going to release that and hopefully have a good crowd attend that ceremony.
That's respectful. That's something I don't have words for. I mean, how many people are going out and doing stuff like this right now? You.
Well, I don't think people go to not many people go to the extent that I do.
Okay.
But, to me, and I've felt this for a long time, that don't we have a responsibility to honor, remember those who served and sacrificed?
Yes, we do, absolutely.
And ensure that their legacy carries on long to the future. But in addition to that, I feel that we also need to take care of and remember the notable citizens that contributed to our community that we live in. So ultimately, when I first started doing this, I was working veterans, and then I saw these beautiful Victorian marble artwork. How could you not do that?
Right.
How can you do the veteran and not do the family when the family, in many times, most circumstances, sacrifices more than the veteran?
Especially in this area with the many, many years that we go back.
Oh, absolutely. Because back in 1675, this was the western edge of the frontier. And
It's not the first time I've heard that, Kathy.
I have no idea where.
We were the Wild West. Right?
Indeed, we were.
And you can see that by you spend some time in the Westfield Athenaeum. Go to Parker Memorial Park. Look at the stones, the people that both soldiers and civilians that were killed during the King Philip.
And now that those 70-year-old bushes are away, we all know that that's there now.
Absolutely.
And if you were concerned in the past, a few years ago, and you saw some of the walkways and the pavers all crooked, you were worried about tripping. That's all been redone. It's safe and easy to walk around in that park now.
And it's going to be beautiful once when sprinklers start working and that grass starts growing in from that beautifully laid turf.
Right.
In fact, our guest speaker yesterday complimented how beautiful the park was because he used to live on Avery Street when he was in college. And him and his wife used to walk through Parker Park.
Right.
And, of course, there's a monument there, Elizabeth Parker Park, and a nice little bronze plaque that was conserved 3 years ago, as well as the plaque for Lieutenant William Hassett Kane, the only commissioned officer who was killed in action from Westfield in World War I.
Kane as in Kane and Wojciechowicz Park?
Yes.
Okay.
The Kane brothers, yeah. We had, when we did the 350, we had just a fabulous tribute to the veterans in a song that Marion Dunk wrote. And it started out with, "We have no words to express our gratitude," but the projections that we played, Gene, on the screen in the presentation were all pictures of veterans from going back to World War I. And in the very end, our projectionist, and he did this, I did not ask him to, went and took a projection of the flag at Parker Park, blowing in the wind. It was just, it would give you chills to see that particular section. It was just awesome. Kane was in there. There were some women that were in World War II that were in there. Charlie Darling was in there when he flew. Not Woody, but his dad was in there. We had pictures of pilots. We had General Mott in there. It was just wonderful.
When I was in elementary school way back in the 70s, I remember when the veterans holidays would come around, and we'd have visits at the schools. I remember we actually had a World War II
Memorial
nurse
Day
that came in.
Tom O'Neill.
Okay.
Tom O'Neill always came around. In the early days, it was George Fox. It was back in the 50s, but Tom O'Neill took over and did a lot of that.
And most recently, I would be the one introducing the veterans and speaking a little bit about it pre-COVID. In fact, we haven't had those Memorial Day school visits since pre-COVID. In fact, that was one of my things I absolutely looked forward to, was spending time in the elementary school.
Isn't it time to bring that back?
I would hope so.
I think I know someone involved with the schools here in Westfield. And maybe I should put a bug in their ear.
Well, you better do it fast, because Memorial Day is coming like a roaring wind. It's just, the days are going flying. So it will be Memorial Day before we know.
But going back to
Decoration Day, sorry.
Right, which Major General John Logan, the Commander-in-Chief of the Grand Army of the Republic, instituted that. And what he wanted, the goal was to try to do reconciliation between the North and the South. And May 30th was chosen because there was no major battles between the North and the South. But going back to Lieutenant Kane, there's going to be a lovely banner. It's going to be flying on one of the flagpoles. One of the 30 or so veterans are going to be honored this year. And Kathy mentioned Kane Brothers Circles. That was for Eugene and John Kane.
That's up off Prospect Street.
Right. And those two were the first cousins of Lieutenant William Hassett Kane.
Okay.
And Eugene Kane was reported missing, and then he was later declared killed in action, as well as John P. Kane. And both those gentlemen are up at St. Mary's. And rest assured, I make sure that those graves are clean and flagged every year.
Thank you for that, but I also appreciate all the history you have up here. That it's intense, and I think it's important that we hear it. Who we are. We got here somehow, Are we? I guess are we done with Pine? Okay. Somehow this slide is in with the Pine Hill stuff.
Well, pretty much you might say I cut my teeth working the gravestone preservation at Pine Hill. And so the lovely lady on the left is Dale Dixon, who was a longtime superintendent of Pine Hill Cemetery. And so we presented her a certificate of appreciation from the American Legion from that event in October 2019. That's in the chapel there at Pine Hill.
And I look at the top of that slide. You just said it, Decoration Day. Okay, so this is where we started in at the last time you were here, which this is what I found incredible. We went over from the smaller cemeteries here in town, but now here we are at Pine Hill. What do you have going on here?
What you have there is a depiction of the veterans that have captured their information, including their GPS burial coordinates. So each one of those green pins, if you will, is to a specific veteran. I maintain a database, and I do extensive research to include, their unit, if I'm able to retrieve it, the date they enlisted or entered the service, date exit, their wards, their decorations, if they were a member of the American Legion, if they were an officer, if they were a member of the Grand Army of the Republic, particularly post 41, and whether we have a photo of them in the Anthenium, and other information. And then from that database, I can filter and I can query and I can depict and show maps of certain specifics or create a spreadsheet. I was a systems analyst in the Air Force. And that,
okay, that explains it.
So database stuff is things I've been doing ever since I was a young adult.
So this is natural for you.
Yes.
So basically, you can hover over any of these pins, and it'll give you all the details of that veteran.
If you click on the pin, then it'll bring up the information from the database, an excerpt from it that I wanted to show.
How do you find that? How does someone like me find this?
I would have to send you the file.
Okay.
And so, for example, I also use the database to project work as well as document the work that was accomplished.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking down here by the main entrance. To the right, we have the gray.
Right.
So obviously, we all knew Corey. And I'm just looking, if you go to the left of that road, at some point, you're going to have another name to add in here.
Okay.
And it rhymes with Stomsky. So it's going to be interesting to see that happen, because I'm recognizing names here, but as far as I know, I don't have any relation to any of them. But I'm recognizing even more now that I'm going through here. There's do you have a number, an actual number of how many veterans are at Pine Hill?
Not a accurate price.
Okay.
Because I'm continually surveying the cemetery section by section, and then once in a while create a list to capture it all. I would estimate that there's well over 2,000 veterans.
So this is a work in progress.
Absolutely.
You're nowhere near.
Well, it's as long as there's burials, it'll continue to be a work in progress.
That's right. Yes. Going through here. Okay. So you broke it down even further with this particular slide.
For example, this particular slide shows where all the Purple Heart recipients are in Pine Hill Cemetery. And I'd like to thank the Purple Heart Trail because those folks are now funding and providing the Purple Heart cemetery flags as well as the Purple Heart flag holders so that we can honor, remember, and everyone, specifically those that shed blood for our freedom and our liberty.
Now, we recently put some type of Purple Heart Memorial over at Canaan Wojciechowicz,
Yes,
didn't we?
that's correct.
What was that?
That's a monument. It's that the Purple Heart Trail had erected, and of course, at the time, they weren't quite aware of Parker Park.
Okay.
So in hindsight, they kind of wished that they placed it at Parker Park. But
Just for the benefit of people listening in, can you tell them what the Purple Heart Trail actually is? I think people go by, they see it. I'm not sure they know.
Yeah, we recently had signs put in the area over the past couple of years.
We did, and Warren Holmes, our old friend Warren, has one. So what is the Purple Heart?
the Purple Heart Trail is a designated route, and through Westfield, it's Route 202. So what happened, to have it be a Purple Heart Trail, you need the proclamation and work through the city government, and then to go to the Massachusetts Department of Transportation. Well, first the Massachusetts legislature had to approve it, and then the Department of Transportation to put the signs up. So you'll find that the Purple Heart Trail traverses 202 through Holyoke, as well as South Hadley, into Westfield, and through Southwick.
And what does it signify?
It signifies those that receive the Purple Heart and honoring them on the road. Just as most recently, Massachusetts designated Route 20 the Medal of Honor Highway. So as you enter Westfield from West Springfield, you'll see a sign commemorating that, and then as you enter Westfield from Russell, there's a sign at that location.
So this is similar to one of the bridges in town, All Patriots Bridge.
Right.
That's along the same line.
Yes.
Okay. All right. What's next?
This is one of the Purple Heart recipients, Frank Andrus, who was a past commander of American Legion Post 124. And then you can see some of the information that's depicted from the database in that pop-up, if you will, from clicking the pin.
There's some intense information here. I'll read one piece of it. If you are a sensitive viewer, just don't pay attention for the next 20 seconds.
I knew him very well.
Yeah, for instance, wounds, KIA, killed in action, right?
No, he wasn't killed in action. That's just the field name.
Oh, okay. Is that KLA or KIA?
KIA, but it's wounds or killed in action.
Wounds or, okay, all right. So it's still a little volatile sounding here. Penetrating wounds of face, neck, and chest on the 4th of November, 1944 in Germany caused by enemy shell fragments. That's detailed.
Yeah, you don't normally find that too often on the documentation of the military documents.
Right.
But when it's there, I try to include as much information as possible so that you're not going to multiple sources to try to find information.
Kathy, you said you knew him?
I did.
You weren't even born when he was enlisted.
I knew if it's the same Frank Andrus I knew, he was 1970s. He was still very much with us.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
When did he pass away?
08. So, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, then it has to be another
Oh,
Frank
okay.
Andrus.
And that's his photo, past commander photo, when he was a commander of American Legion Post 120.
September 2008.
Oh, well, yeah, I knew him in the 1970s.
Yeah, so
yes. Yes.
That makes sense.
I knew him
'Cause
very well.
I forgot in the 70s you were actually younger than I am now.
Be quiet. You do the math. You do the math.
So it looks like you have a couple more slides there showing examples of information that you get by clicking on one of those.
Yeah, in this particular slide, if you look up in the upper right-hand corner, that's the emblem of the 104th Infantry, the 26th Yankee Division, which we have beautiful Apremont Park, by the airport.
At Southampton Road.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Where do you park in order to visit that place?
Well, a week from Saturday is going to be the 104th Infantry's.
And I'm aware of that coming up. That's why I asked.
Yeah, park across the street in Micro Abrasive.
Oh, okay.
Because they're not open that day.
All right.
And it's very tight, but it's going to be a very nice ceremony.
And just be careful getting across that road.
Yes. Sometimes there's a police officer there that's.
All right.
And those bronze plaques were conserved, and Parks and Recs, they've cut down some of the branches around the flagpole, and it is a really nice ceremony. And of course,
It's that whole area right there that's cut out is really nice. And just driving by at 50 miles an hour, you don't really pick up on anything there.
No, I'm sure most people don't even know it's there.
Yeah.
And of course, we got to be very thankful for Sadie Barnes Knox, because she donated that land for that monument there. It was relocated and placed there, as well as she donated the land on behalf of her father for what Barnes Airport is. That used to be Camp Bartlett, which was a World War training facility before Fort Devens.
And we're talking Sadie Knox as in the Sadie Knox Playground, Kathy.
Yes. And she was a prominent member of the Daughters of the American Revolution. And when I find Daughters of the American Revolution, I update a flag in the database as well.
Okay, so you had mentioned commander of Post 124. Here are other commanders.
These are the past commanders of American Legion Post 124. Our early post commanders, such as Stanley Kellogg Smith, Charles Franklin Ely, Mayor Cowing, who was elected 5 terms there. So simply, the American Legion, they purchased American Legion cemetery flags. We have American Legion flag holders that we place on the right with the Legion cemetery flag, and then their war era or service component flag with American cemetery flag on the left-hand side.
Oh.
What people don't realize is all these early post commanders, they were all, they continued to serve their community, state, and nation. And they did a lot of wonderful things in the community, and some of them served at the state level and at the national level.
Let's talk for a minute about flags at the cemeteries in town. I know that at this point they have to go up and come down at certain times now.
No, that's only at St. Mary's Cemetery.
Oh, okay. All right.
So what happens is American Legion Post 124 flags St. Mary's. So roughly a week before Memorial Day, they go up there and they flag St. Mary's.
Okay.
And then a week after Memorial Day, the flags came down. Back in 2002, the Diocese of Springfield made a decision that no more flag holders and flags, and limited.
They wanted easy maintenance.
Absolutely, for ease of mowing.
Yeah.
And personally, and there was a lot of pushback. People were quite upset.
I remember that. Yeah.
Upset in the community.
They still are. You still see complaints about it. Yeah.
And in fact, on a personal level, it bothers me because these veterans, I believe every day is Veterans Day, and we need to show appreciation and gratitude for their service and sacrifice, particularly when they're less than 1% of the population serves in our military today.
Right. I know when we were taking care of a grave at Pine Hill, there are certain times of year where we were only able to put certain things out at the grave. In this case, the flags can be there year-round?
Absolutely.
Good to hear that.
Yeah, in fact, I have a superior relationship with Pine Hill Cemetery. We work together as a team, and I try to do that with all the trustees and people that maintain the cemeteries throughout the city as a partnership, because working together, we can make things happen.
Right.
But this man, what he hasn't told you is he doesn't just stay in Westfield. He's everywhere.
Oh,
He's ubiquitous.
Because I'm Pete
He's in
Jr.
the
down
hill
in Southwick.
towns.
I know he gets involved in Southwick,
He's
too.
in the hill towns. He's in Southwick. He's over in Belchertown. Every time I look, he's somewhere else. So believe me, I don't think he has a minute that he's not doing something somewhere. So it isn't just here, folks. You are everywhere. Do you eat and sleep?
Yes, in fact, I got over 8 hours of sleep last night. That's really remarkable.
That's 4 hours more than me.
You are everywhere. You have quite a project going in Belchertown.
Yes, in
That's
fact.
amazing.
In fact, in Belchertown, actually it'll be where on May 26th, there'll be the unveiling of the Revolutionary War Monument and the bronze plaque. There'll be 43 patriots that will be on that plaque, including one of my fourth great grandfathers.
Oh.
And so there's going to be at least 3 chapters of the Daughters of the American Revolution there, the Betty Allen chapter from Northampton, the Duxbury chapter near the Cape, the Worcester chapter, and several other chapters, and perhaps some dignitaries from the State Society and maybe even from the National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution. In addition, the Sons of the American Revolution Massachusetts Society President Jim Holmes will be there. I've asked him to speak for a couple minutes and assist in unveiling of the monument, as well as the General Henry Knox Honor Guard will be there and the firing detail. And our own Westfield Smith Monuments was instrumental in working with me for the granite and for the bronze plaque. And that monument should be coming back from Vermont any time now.
And they do some beautiful work there.
Absolutely.
When I graduated from this building in -- I was a recipient of the Citizenship Award from Daughters of American Revolution.
Nice.
That it was an all-male class to begin with, so I'm going to say that. But I actually got the Citizenship Award from them, and it wasn't until several years later that I really started to learn what DAR was, and I became more appreciative of it as time went by.
Yeah, we used to have the General William Shepard chapter of the DAR here in Westfield, but it no longer exists. Perhaps it'd be a nice thing to resurrect that chapter as we're coming and approaching the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution.
I still have the certificate. I should dig it up and at least snap a copy of it for you to see if it's anything useful for history.
Yeah, that would be great. In fact, that is. In fact, in Veterans Day, I was honored by the DAR up at Betty Allen Chapter House and received the DAR's Hannah White Arnett Medal. That's for Sons of American Revolution members working with the DAR.
Right.
And I proudly wore that medal yesterday. And Hannah White Arnett, she lives where Elizabeth, New Jersey is. And then one evening, her husband was there with some other fellow revolutionists. And they were speaking about whether to give up the cause for the revolution and swear allegiance to the crown.
Oh, God.
And so what Hannah White Arnett said, if you abandon the cause for revolution, I will leave my husband.
Oops.
And they stayed to the revolution. And the DAR established the medal for both local and for state folks. So I have the bronze medal, then they have a gold for state societies.
Bob Myko presented me that award.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
That's a blast from the past.
Yep.
He was a past commander of American Legion Post 124.
Yeah.
And Bob worked boy state and girl state, and those are programs that I work today,
Oh,
as well
small
as
world.
scholarship. And in fact, we awarded a Bob Mico scholarship for several years from the Sons of the American Revolution after Bob's passing, from his two sons. And unfortunately, we don't award that scholarship any longer. But from the Sons, we do award Lieutenant William Hassett Kane Scholarship to a St. Mary's student. And we also award a scholarship, the Thomas J. Abernathy Memorial Scholarship, to have an attachment to the Westfield Public Schools, and the other one is to attachment to St. Mary's Schools.
Okay, we have a whole list of past commanders here. Yes, we do. Do we want to go through each one, or at least mention names?
You can just browse through a couple.
All right. So we have Gardner. What do we have here? This is information.
Those are the cemetery flags, and then,
Okay.
and then
All right.
the little decal.
All right. So no specific order here then.
No, but the thing about with Milton Gardner was when I saw his marker, he was assigned to a spruce squadron.
All right.
And so, someone might say, what did a spruce squadron do? Well, they harvested spruce trees, and they had up to 5,000 people at the camp that he was at. He was an inspector, and they used spruce in the airframes and the wings
Of course.
in World War I. And they still use spruce today for helicopter blades and other aircraft components.
Yep.
And
A lot of wooden blades or some props are made with that.
yes.
Yeah. It's strong and lightweight.
And so there's hyperlinks in the slides that bring additional information and qualify.
So the mill was actually called a cut-up plant.
And then another significant thing that Milton Gardner did with a couple other folks was they established the boys' band back in 1929, 30, 31. And it only lasted for a few years, but there's a nice picture of the band that I restored in Photoshop. And
Wow.
and the American Legion National published it in one of their monthly newsletters a few years ago. And there it is.
Look at that.
I haven't seen that picture.
Well,
I thought Kathy has seen every single picture here in town.
Well, I'll have to share it with you,
No,
Kathy.
I do have a lot of them, but that's not one I've seen. Interesting.
It was,
And this is the building downtown?
yeah, that's the Post in front of Post
The
Home.
Legion, yep. Changed a little bit.
It has changed, yes.
Changed a little.
And they used to sponsor a Sea Scout squadron too. And there's another picture with the Sea Scouts in front of the building that I restored. I spent some time.
Nice. It's a great shot.
That is a beautiful shot. It's completely different than photos of bands today.
No.
It's
Um,
crazy. And so now you broke it down into even another sector of veterans.
yes, this is the Spanish-American War veterans. In fact,
My gosh.
I have a personal attachment to Pine Hill Cemetery because many of my ancestors are buried in Pine Hill Cemetery, as well as in the old burying ground on Mechanic Street. In particular, a Spanish-American War veteran is down in the lower right-hand corner, and that's Wesley S. Brass, who was attributed to being the first American to die in the Spanish-American War. He died at Camp Massachusetts in Lakeland, Florida. Wesley S. Brass was my first cousin 3 times removed.
Okay.
I'm looking at the hours and hours and hours this must have taken to put this together. You haven't figured out how many hours.
No,
You can't even count that high, can you?
no, but in fact, one of those stories that I could probably speak about is the Civil War veterans at Pine Hill. There's 314. I found recently a 314th one that wasn't documented. And those 314, I can tell you the GPS, that's the other Westfield resident attributed to die in the Spanish-American War. That's Major Henry Bowen, who's buried at Pine Hill as well. He was a surgeon, and he died in Santiago, Cuba. The U.S. Army didn't provide him enough medical.
And what did it? The flu.
The flu did him under. He was in a ward with all kinds of sick patients working 16, 18 hours a day and only having a few other physicians with him. And pretty much the medical supplies they had came from the state of Massachusetts. And that was the 2nd Infantry Regiment. This is the Spanish-American War Monument that's down in Memorial Square in Springfield. And Wesley Brass's name is on that. Give you an example. Springfield has a Community Preservation Act project on this monument to do the bronze, $83,500. What we did in Westfield 3 years ago, including the General Shepherd, the Civil War, all the bronze plaques on the Civil War one, the plaques.
Yeah, the plaques on the green.
Well, that wasn't part of this project.
While he was in town,
he did that.
I know that. I think it was a 350 that found money in order.
Right.
Yeah.
Two plaques at Parker Park, and the bronze up at the 104th Infantry. All of that for $60,000. And the Civil War Soldier Monument here in Westfield is a lot larger than that. So we got a lot more done with our dollars.
And because that is now properly sealed, that patina is really not going to be changing.
Not for a while, but it's still recurring maintenance that needs to happen. You need to wash it frequently. It's kind of like your car. The same principle. You have to wash your car, wax it and all that to prevent it from the oxidation and all that.
All right. We're going to end up having you back again to continue going through this deck. I can only imagine I'm maybe a quarter or halfway through. I haven't looked at the entire thing. But before you go, I think it's important to just mention something that everyone watching can do, and they can go to Find a Grave.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about Find a Grave.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because part of my process is that when I'm updating and finding veterans or others in the cemetery that capture the GPS coordinates, I update the database and I'll look at Find a Grave. And as a public service, I update Find a Grave. I'll correct. I will correct the vital information. I will put the correct burial coordinates, and I'll put in the section and the row number.
It's the Wikipedia of cemeteries.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's a flag to depict someone as a veteran, so I'll update the flag. In fact, just last night, from all the work that we did at Owen District, I got at least 24 messages from Find a Grave that my suggested edits were approved. Where Find a Grave is someone they can easily find one of their relatives or someone that they're interested in if it's been updated. And it takes a lot of work from them having to try to find it, because if you try to walk Pine Hill Cemetery to find a grave, good luck.
Does Find a Grave have the metadata from the veterans cemeteries as well?
People manually update it to create it.
Okay. All right, there's a different source altogether to find somebody at a veteran cemetery.
Oh, they're easy. You can pretty well find them. In fact, most recently, Mr. Bozick, who was the first enlisted, who was killed in service during World War I, his monument's been returned back to a little island there where West Silver Street and Court Street intersect, and then it becomes Western Avenue. So his remains are in a national cemetery overseas.
Oh.
So there was not a photo of the gravestone in that foreign, overseas cemetery. So I did a photo request, and I think within a day, a photo was published up there. There's thousands and thousands of Find a Grave volunteers throughout the world that respond and update this stuff. Unfortunately, like some of these folks, they'll take obituaries and they'll add a memorial in a cemetery based upon an obituary. And sometimes, not always, that individual may not be interred in that cemetery. And then it doesn't have the location of the grave and all that. So in a very large cemetery, you're not really doing any service.
I hear you. All right, we're going to have you back sooner more than later. I think this is just important information that we should hear. Because as I said, we got here somehow. And there aren't very many ways of folks to really learn about this stuff or hear about this stuff or be introduced to this stuff. And I'm hoping that over a period of time, we get enough people interested in this stuff to maybe they can start looking deeper into things and learning more about the town history or their own family history.
Absolutely.
All right. Gene Theroux, I want to thank you for coming in again.
Very much, sir.
And thanks for having me. And rest assured that anytime you invite me, I'd be more than happy to support it.
All right. I think we're going to see you sometime in May, but we'll determine that in the next couple of weeks. Speaking of a couple of weeks, the next 2 weeks, best ofs here on the Den. And then when we get back, the beginning of May, I haven't even thought that far ahead of time. So tune in to find out. That's all I have for you.